Ask not what we all be can do for you. Ask what you can do for we all be.
Now, let's go to the fact that Cuba. Now, Guantanamo Bay, okay? Guantanamo Bay. If you do the research, you find out that's in Cuba, and America been leasing that from them. U.S. have been leasing the 45 square miles that the base sits on since 1903. They leased that from 1903. Guantanamo Bay, we still leasing it. I thought that was our enemy. And why would you want to put one of the most secret naval bases in the history of America on enemy territory? Huh? So then you got to say, who is Castro? What is this about? Now, hear me good now. We've been leasing that since 1903, and all these ignorant white boys in Congress, they don't know it's two governments. They sitting there mad at the president, on the system, the coast of Guantanamo Bay, okay? The U.S. has been leasing it, since 1903. The base shares a 17-mile border with Cuba. The U.S. pays the Cuban government approximately $4,985,000 a year for the lease. Did you hear me?
I hear you. Wow.
And they sitting here talking about, we can't do business with them thugs. $4 million a year. And 98% of the people work there are Cubans. So what kind of secrets you got that you don't mind your enemy working there, huh?
Wow.
You hear me?
Yes, sir.
The U.S. have been leasing the 45 square miles the base sits on since 1903. The base shares a 17-mile border with Cuba. The U.S. pays Cuban government approximately $4,985,000 a year for the lease. The last time Cuba accepted payment, okay? But they got it all, okay? Now, the lease can only be terminated by mutual agreement. Wait a minute now. Castro can't terminate it unless you want to fight our guns. Okay? Now, Guantanamo Bay, right?
Yes.
The lease cannot be terminated except by mutual agreement. Approximately 6,000 service members, civilian, and contract workers are at the base. You got a big operation going. You tell them this is our enemy, and here's a man that don't treat the people right, human rights, and we got to deal with him. And now Americans can't complain about what we do to them captives because it's not on American soil. See how it works?
Yes, sir.
And so this is all these chumps is arguing, today about, this is a killer. How can we do? Well, please. Castro's tourist business. Tourist business. You got that? Is about $6 billion a year.
Wow.
Oh, wait a minute. What? Yeah. White folks from Europe come in, huh? And where'd you get the planes? Well, for years, over 20, 30 years, he's been leasing United Airlines. Did you hear me? 747s in the wintertime. And we ain't supposed to be dealing with them? Okay. So when we look at the 911 attack September 11 attack in 2001 and look at the military operation in Afghanistan, detention facilities at Guantanamo was refurbished to hold the detainees from the war on terrorism. Wow. And who started it? It was George Bush. George Bush. And so when you look at the inauguration, President Obama signed an exclusive order to close the detention facilities within 1 year. However, the facilities are still open. Somebody must have told me, Mr. President, you just got in, but let me show you this document here. We can't close it. And as of December 2014, is that this year?
Yes, sir.
There were 136 detainees still there. And so when you stop and think about, the timeline, the Republic of Cuba leased 44 miles of land, Guantanamo Bay, to the U.S., for a naval station. Building the Navy station began the same year, In 1934, Cuba and the United States signed the agreement to rent the 44 square miles to the U.S. for $4 million of our dollars. 1991, approximately 34,000 Haitian refugees and detainees of the base after they fled to Cuba in Haiti. We don't know nothing about this, but this is America owns this. Can't nobody go there without. In 1994 to 1995, more than 50,000 Cubans and Haitians occupied the base at Guantanamo. January the 11th, 2002, the first detainees from Afghanistan and Pakistan arrived. Come on now. June 28th, 2004, a divided Supreme Court ruled that Guantanamo detainees have some rights, but left it open for those rights will be exercised. Okay, hear me. And so it goes on and on and on. So all of these thugs and fools on TV now, the pundits are saying, wait a minute, wait. And nobody mentions this blank check we have with Cuba.
All right.
Now we'll skip to JFK, 1963. The nuclear missile crisis.
Was that 62 or 63?
62.
Okay.
And the Russians said, y'all better get those nuclear missiles off of there. That's what the Russians said. Okay. They had nuclear missiles in Cuba aimed at Russia. So then they made the heavy drama in the sea and all of that. And what happened? Here's what really went down. Poland had American missiles, hear me, mounted, aimed at Russia. The nuclear missiles and Cuba was aimed at us. So they held all that drama. They had made a deal long before all that crap. That Poland, you move your missiles, nuclear missiles from Poland, we'll move ours there. And they had the whole world believing it could be the beginning of World War III. That's how the stuff works, okay?
Okay.
And so some kind of way, when you look at what they're telling us, and you think the New York Times, I know this New York Times don't know it? You think I know this and the Washington Post don't know it? You think certain members of Congress don't know them two elite FBI agents that had the whole investigation was killed in the accident? Do you really believe that? And so, again, this is today's news, and nobody seems to know anything about it other than this man's a devil. This man, can you believe all the stuff that he's doing against humanity? Look how he treats his own people. Well, do you know Egypt for the last 30 years get Egypt's army get $1.5 billion from the United States government? The army, not Egypt, not the folks that's hungry.
Yes, sir.
And that's who overthrows. Anytime somebody come in, we overthrow them. They dictate to us, They dictate to us. And so, consequently, what we're looking at, okay, is a game, and, it's too late now. And so consequently, when you sit and look at this and feel it. Now, here's Putin. Y'all need to write this down and check it, because this is too devastating to take somebody's word for it, okay? Right after the World Cup,
okay,
in July, on July the 16th, Putin was over there in at the World Cup. So he held a press conference in Brazil, and he announced that Russia is writing off 90% of Cubans' debt. Okay? Ahead of Putin's big tour of South America. Okay? Now, what was the debt? 90%, right? He wrote off, right? That means, so he didn't write off all, right?
Right, he didn't write off.
So how much was 90% of the debt he wrote off? $32 billion.
Wow.
Russia has written down $32 billion of Cuban Soviet-era debt. Okay? So now the Cubans now is required to pay back $3.2 billion over the next 10 years. Now the whole thing changes now, right?
Right.
Okay? The first payment from Cuba is expected in October, and the money will be transferred on an account of the Russian leaders' banks, open the National Bank of Cuba. Okay? Now listen to this now. Then on the 17th, that morning, he announced that the Russians was putting over $100 billion, a kitty for South Africa, India, China, and 2 other South American countries. Y'all can look that up.
Mm-hmm.
And that would equal the World Bank. He said we'll no longer have to go to these thugs with our hat in our hand.
Right.
And then he went on to say there's one country in Europe has 30 million people, but in the World Bank they have a larger vote than China, who has a couple of billion.
Oh,
and he says, so y'all can go to hell. Now let me tell you what's happening now. All of this is going on.
Mm-hmm.
All of this is going on. Okay?
Yeah.
And so all at once now, America have to come out and make like, oh, we're going to forget this here. We're going to let these folks come back home. And the first day, they never told us that it was 2 people coming, that spy.
Right.
That spy, huh?
They stuck that in there.
Yeah.
They did. I didn't know about that spy until like late last night.
Yeah.
I started looking at it.
Now, let's watch this now. Let's run to, now, watch this now. So now, Castro, black folk go over there and go to medical school.
Right.
Yep. But while you stand over there, what you do you know they got mind control? Not them, us. Do you know that? Okay.